Hey guys, Cameron for Awkward, Season 5, Episode 18, Digging Deep, and once again, I was looking forward to this episode, but at the same time, you guys know, the second half of the season hasn't really been doing it for me. I've just found it to be very pointless, it hasn't really gone anywhere, and I was really hoping that this would be the episode where it went somewhere. We had a really good cliffhanger last week, I was really hoping we go somewhere this week, and once again, let me just say, there were some things I actually really did like about this episode I think were very well done, but once again, arcs ended way too quickly, and the one starting this episode is just really, really stupid. But let's just get in this episode because, once again, it really pissed me off, and you guys know I'm watching till the end of the show just because I want to see how the show ends, but I really don't know where the hell they're going because it doesn't really seem like they're going much of anywhere. Right now, I gotta tell you guys, this just feels like an extended epilogue. That's what this entire second half of the season is feeling. It just feels like an extended epilogue that we did not need and no one asked for. But let's just get into this episode. So I did like the way this episode started off. We see basically we're seeing Jenna, Matty, Tamara, Luke, and Sully, they're all recovering from the party, and I love how they're all, just, they had this huge hangover, and Luke is just stop yelling and everything, and Jenna's really upset what happened to Jake. She doesn't know if they can really come back from this because they cost him his job and everything, and she has every right to be, really upset, because, yeah, they did get him in trouble, they did get him fired, obviously it is a problem, and, they feel really bad about getting him fired, he's not picking up his calls, it just nothing really seems to be working, so for whatever reason, Sully gives her this idea that the best thing to do is to throw a surprise party to, basically worship how great Jake is, which this is the dumbest plan I have ever heard. I mean, these characters are not dumb. Jenna, especially, is not dumb. I have no idea why Jenna would agree to this. I have no idea why Jenna thought this was a good idea. This is not something Jenna would come up with. Tamara, yes. Sully, yes. Even Matty, yes. But not Jenna. Jenna would not come up with this idea. She is not this dumb. She is not this, naive. And I don't know why they thought this was a good idea, because it's really a stupid idea. And I have no idea why they were thinking this was something that would actually work. For me, already, I was like, this is going to be a really stupid episode. So we see Lissa, and Jake obviously is complaining about getting him fired, and I actually really like what they do with Lissa and Jake in this episode, because like I said, I don't think we've had a lot of time with Lissa and Jake, and I like what they did here. They attempted to flesh them out, definitely, because we really do see that Lissa's upset that Jake lost his job, but at the same time, if you guys remember in last week's episode, Jake had no time with her, he was going from job, he was going from, job to job, from member to member. He had no time to spend with Lissa all over the 4th of July, and she's kind of upset about this. She thinks that this might be a good thing for him to actually move past this and go on to something better, and suggest that maybe he work at her boyfriend's startup. It might be a good thing for him to do, that there's an application out there, and that's exactly what you do. When you get fired, you're fired. You move on to something better, and that's exactly what Lissa wants him to do. This was kind of just a starter job, just to get him out of that slump of working in that job that he really didn't like, get him somewhere he did like, and then eventually get him somewhere else. That was the plan all along, and that's exactly what Lissa wants to do. I mean, I can understand, though, why Jake's really upset with this. It makes perfect sense why Jake is really upset, him freaking out at her. He had every right to be upset. So I'm not even, gonna complain, with Jake being upset. He had every right to be upset, and I really do feel bad for Jake, honestly. Jake is the one character this season that is really one of the ones that seems to actually have something to, it seems like they were actually giving him something to do, and he really doesn't know if he's actually going to forgive his friends. I mean, like I said, they really cost him his job, and it really is a problem. So we see at Idea Bin, we get one scene Idea Bin, and it really just, it's kind of pointless. Honestly, at this point, Idea Bin feels more like an afterthought. It feels like we were going somewhere with this, and now it doesn't seem like we're going that far with it, because basically, Lizzie's talking about how she wants to find this article that really impresses her, and she doesn't talk about Jenna. Jenna asks Ethan about her last piece. He says he's looking forward to reading it, because of course he really enjoyed her last piece, but then he warns her that if her next piece doesn't go viral, then she's going to go from editorial fellow to ad sales, and obviously he doesn't want that to happen, and she doesn't want that to happen either, so she has to try to write the best article possible, which we'll talk about that, because that's really dumb. So basically, we see Jenna, Matty, Luke, and Sully, they're all scrambling together to basically decorate for Jake's party, which, by the way, we'll get to the sort of subplots a little bit later with Sadie, because it was sort of a subplot and it sort of wasn't. They're working together to decorate for Jake's party, and I did like the scene with Jenna and Matty joking about old times. You see that their friendship is actually really good here. They're joking around, they're reminiscing, but Luke is not happy with this, and you can see Luke has every right to be upset with this, but I don't like this being sort of a love triangle. I don't think they're trying to make it that way, though. Luke just obviously does not think that Matty is, Matty's bad news, and he thinks that Jenna needs to get over him, and I think that Jenna just wants to be friends. Jenna's never expressed express any interest in getting back together. She wants to be friends with Maggie. She wants to be with Luke. Luke really is the better guy for Jenna. I mean, Luke is the one that will tell her when something's right or wrong. Luke encourages her, while Matty always seemed to be discouraging when anything, bad happened to him or something like that. While Luke really does support Jenna through and through, and that's something I think they showed really well in this episode. And that's something I've liked about the season. Jenna and Luke, I think, are perfect there. There is absolutely no reason to break these two up. And I really hope they're not going that direction, or they do try to break Jenna and Luke up, because I think that's the best thing the season has done, is get those two together, because it was a mistake to break them up, and I think this season they've done a great thing of getting those two back together, definitely. That's been one of my favorite things about the second half of the season. So, at Jake's party, Jenna gets a text telling her their piece made the front page of Idea Bin, and Jake does arrive to the party, and we don't really know how he's going to react, but but for whatever reason, when he gets there, he is completely okay with it. He's completely over it. He forgives them. Now, why the fuck he'd forgive them over cake and beer, I have no idea. It's really dumb that he'd forgive them over this. I have no idea what would possess him to forgive them. I mean, this was his job, something that he really cared about, something that he really wanted to do well in, and he got fired from it, and he's really pissed about it, but all of a sudden, he's just okay with it. He wants cake and beer, alright, everything's fine. That makes no sense whatsoever. Yes, Jake was a partier in his college years, but we know he really cared about this job, and we know he really wanted to impress Lissa, and it really ruined a lot of things for him. Why would he just forgive them? I have no idea. It makes no sense whatsoever why that would happen. And again, it seems like the show was trying to do something, and they're like, nope, it's the final season, we can't have anything bad happen. Because it's the final season, nothing bad has to happen, right? So, once again, because we're in the final season, something big should be happening, and nothing's really happening. And once again, I'm not feeling that final season vibe. I'm just not feeling it. It's feeling repetitive, and it just felt pointless. And that's what seems to be happening this season. We get into this arc, we have something set up, and it doesn't happen. Same with Tamara and Jenna. That happened, and now we had this whole thing with Jake, and it's really getting just annoying that we're not really going anywhere with these characters that we haven't gone before. So, Jenna gets a text telling her their piece made the front page of Idea Bin, and she's really happy about it, obviously. She's really happy about it. Luke is really excited, and she even gets everyone to listen to her, and she's about to make the announcement, but then she sees the headline that they used was your needy high school boyfriend is a loser, dump him already, which is the headline she used. Obviously, it's about Matty. Now, why Jenna would write an article about this, I don't know. I mean, I think it's ridiculous that she would do this. I don't think Jenna would go this far to actually publish an article into Idea Bin about it. I mean, we know how sensitive Jenna is. We know how much she cares about Matty. We know that she wouldn't do this. Why she put this article in here, I have absolutely no idea what this is about. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, basically, this article obviously is about him. She's worried that Matty's going to read it. And Jenna tells Luke she can't believe Ethan would do this. Luke says he probably just wanted a headline that would give her a chance to go viral. Which, yeah, I think that is true. That he really just did it to get her to go viral, which means he likes it. And, obviously, this is a headline that she just randomly used, and he used it, from a bunch of random headlines, and this sounded the best to him. You can tell that Jenna's really upset about this, though, and again, I don't understand really why she'd write this. I mean, we saw before, Jenna wasn't necessarily mad at Matty for breaking up with her, what ended up happening with Matty. This just felt kind of pointless, and when exactly did Jenna write this? I don't really understand this. Did she write this in college? Did she write this, when she was with Matty in college, and what was going on there? Or did she write this, after they broke up? I mean, I really couldn't tell when this was written. It really fell out of place, and it really just felt like a genuine it was there to create conflict between Jenna and Matty. And basically, Jenna decides to check with Matty to see if he read Idea Bin, and he says that he doesn't and seems very guilty. He's like, should I read it? Should I, is there anything you want me to read? And I did like Matty saying, do you want me to read it? Because, yeah, it is a genuine question. Obviously, why would she ask him if she didn't want him to read it? Do you want me to read it? He asks if he should be checking out or writing, and she quickly tells him it's okay for him not to read it. And then we get the stupidest scene of this episode. Without a doubt, the stupidest scene in this episode comes very soon, but even a stupider scene was with Lissa and Jake. Oh my god, this pissed me off, because I think Lissa was in the right. I think Lissa did the right thing with Jake didn't want this job. He wanted to move forward, and this was just a temporary start. This was a way to get Jake on his feet, get him on a job that he actually does like, and a job that actually gives him good pay, things like that, and then get him somewhere else. That was the plan all along. For whatever reason, he calls up Aunt Allie. Aunt Allie was able to get his job back for him, and Lissa obviously is very upset about this, because she really wanted him to have a better job, and especially because he has no time for her. They don't really get to spend any time together, and it's really starting to piss her off, and she has every right to be upset about that, and for whatever reason, they just break up right then and there. And for for me, I was really upset because, again, we haven't had anything really going on with Jake and Lissa. We had an entire third half in an episode focused on that, and it's gone absolutely nowhere, and now it seems like Jake and Lissa have broken up. I don't know if they're going to get back together, but this was really dumb. Once again, I felt like the show just wanted to get away from this story because it wasn't working, and that's not how it works. When you start a story, you got to commit to it, and it didn't seem like they wanted to do that here. So this really pissed me off. Like I said, I really was not a fan of this at all, and I can't believe the show actually did this. They actually got away from this and were just like, you know what, whatever, fuck it, who cares? You know, no one actually cared about Jake and Lissa. I genuinely wanted to see Jake and Lissa. I mean, I would have wanted to see them together. I think the show could have done a lot with them, but they didn't want to move forward and do anything really, so they just kind of pushed them aside and were just like, whatever, we'll focus on this at some other point, which really kind of pissed me off, I'd say. I was quite upset that the show didn't focus on this. So, and I really don't think they spent enough time on it, really. So later, Matty confronts Jenna, tells her that he's been getting messages about the article, and what he tells Jenna is probably the most condescending, egotistical thing that Matty has said in a very long time, because he literally says, you should have checked with me, that you should have checked with me before doing this, you should have, gone to me when we broken up, and the thing is, we knew that Matty and Jenna were not on speaking terms. Why was she supposed to go to him? She had every right to post this article, they broke up, that's what it is, there's nothing else to it, and then Sully gets in Jenna's face, tells her that she's the ex that messed up Matty so badly, tells her that she's a bad bitch, and I just don't care. I don't care about Sully. I really don't. I like the friendship that's going on between her and Jenna. This just seemed like it was there to ruin it and create some drama for this season, and if this is the best they can do, I mean, this is really dumb, I gotta say. All of this is really dumb. All this could have been prevented, and it's just really stupid. So Jenna tries to talk to Matty about the article. He tells her it was condescending, that he doesn't know anything about their breakup, and he tells her that he was really depressed and completely torn up afterwards. She tells him that she didn't know that, and she's sorry, and that, he was very depressed, and he tells her that he's sorry that he thought they could be friends when she hasn't changed at all, and he leaves with Sully, and here's what I don't get. They did not break up because of Jenna being this way. That's not why they broke up at all. They broke up because they just couldn't be together, and the futures that they wanted just weren't realistic. Matty wanted to stay at college. It just wasn't realistic. It was a very realistic way for them to break up, because what Matty wanted just wasn't going to happen. It's not at all because Jenna was a bitch. That's not at all what this was about. This was all about Matty wanting to, move in with Jenna at Wyckoff, and it not working out because obviously, as good as Wyckoff was, it just wasn't for Matty. Matty belonged at Berkeley, and he wasn't happy there, so he wanted to go to Wyckoff, and that's what this was all about. Why all of a sudden is he accusing Jenna of them breaking up and saying this is why you broke up? It makes no sense, and just feels like, again, added drama. So we leave with Sully. Jenna sobs. She calls after him, saying that she's sorry. She's like, I'm sorry. She's crying about it, and that's how this episode ends. And for me, this was really dumb, I gotta say. It really couldn't be prevented. I was really upset about it. Let's get to this Sadie and Sergio stuff, because this was nothing. This was literally nothing. The plot for this episode with Sadie and Sergio was ridiculous. Basically, Sadie and Sergio, they're making out in the car, they're together, whatever, and Sergio basically decides to try something different. He bites her lip, and they have like a whole thing about it. I didn't care one bit about this. I don't know what the point about this was about. Just like everything this season, it's just pointless, and guys, I really am getting pissed off for this season. I want it to go somewhere. I really do. We're on the 6th episode of, we're now on the 5th episode of the season, and we're not really going much of anywhere, and it's really annoying me that we're not going anywhere. I want us to go somewhere with the season, and it's not going anywhere. We haven't had anything that monumental. This is the first thing that really has affected this season. Everything else, everyone's back together. Everyone's back to where they should be. All the relationships are okay. Jake, for whatever reason, forgave them. Matty and Jenna are just not on speaking terms. That's exactly where we started off the second half of the season. What's different? Nothing. Nothing's different at all. We've had no interaction between Tamara and Sadie. We've done nothing interesting with the new dynamics. I mean, there really is nothing that we're doing this with this at all, and it really is making me wonder why we decided to continue with the show after graduation. It really starting to be more and more pointless as it goes on, and I really don't know why they're continuing. For me, it just is pointless. I think we're not going anywhere, and it's really starting to annoy me. Do I think they could be doing things? Yes, the Jenna and, the Lissa and Jake storyline is a really good story, and they could have done something with that, but of course, they just had to be stupid and have Jake say no no, I don't want this, and now it looks like next week he's gonna end up having sex with someone else. I'm not really sure what's gonna happen there. It looks really dumb, and this whole Jen and Matty conflict, it just could have been resolved. Get Sully out of the picture, just do something with her, I don't care, just get her out of here. I mean, I understand she's a party girl, but she's just not for Matty. And then as far as Jenna and Luke go, I really hope they're not trying to break these two up. I think Luke is probably one of the best things that's ever happened to Jenna, and if they broke those two up, I'd be really upset about that. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll have to see what happens with that. Also, Tamara's getting close to this guy, Patrick. Whatever, I'm fine with that, but there's really not much they're doing with it. I mean, even with Adam, who I thought they really didn't do much with, they did a lot more with, well, actually, they did do a lot with Adam. They actually really fleshed out that relationship. Here, Tamara and Patrick, they're not doing much of anything with. To me, it just seems like they're doing this to give Tamara something to do, because at this point, she really doesn't have much of anything to do, and really, this season is pissing me off. I want the show to end. I just want the show to end, honestly. If I had to say one thing, I just want the show to end. I want it to end. I'm watching it till the end. I'm hoping that it gets better, because I do think it has potential to get better, but it's just not focusing on how to move forward. I mean, you're doing a second half of the season for a reason. What is that purpose? I have yet to realize what the purpose of the second half of the season is. Was it to get an extended epilogue? Because that's exactly what we're getting. We're getting a lot of repetitive stories. We're getting a lot of stuff that we didn't need to see, and I don't know why any of this was necessary. So overall, guys, not a fan of this episode. Once again, I think there were some good ideas in this episode, but mostly this episode really pissed me off. Basically, the second worst episode of the season. Not as bad as Best Friends Forever, but definitely on the same level as that. None of you guys saw this episode. Like I said, really annoying episode. This show in general lately is really pissing me off, and none of you guys saw this episode. We'll see you guys next show, which will be for The Path, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.